Hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Friday evening. So welcome to everybody while we talk about coping with life at New Year. All right. I hope you've all had a wonderful New Year's Eve and that a New Year's Day that you're fully recovered. It was a very quiet New Year in my life and one of the quietest I've ever had. But I must admit that I really did enjoy watching some of the fireworks. I'm so grateful for the technology that we can watch fireworks from around the world at our leisure. It's just a wonderful way to be able to do it. So I really, really enjoyed that. I am going to be talking a little bit more today about the subject that we started at lunchtime, where we're talking about various aspects of New Year. And, you know, New Year is a time for some people, it's a time for setting goals, and that's fine. So what I wanted to do was to just run through some things that, you know, we might just want to think about and start working. Hi there, Sharon. Good to see you. I've also got some quotes that I found that I really liked and I thought I would share with you. And so generally, I'm hoping that we will get a chance to just, you know, enjoy the moment. Just let me get what I wanted here. Here we go. Because really, hi Beth, good to see you, and Happy New Year to you as well. We had Manon join us at lunchtime today, which was a real pleasure. We haven't seen her for a long time, and it's always wonderful. It always amazes me how Manon can be funny in a different language. Her English is that good. For those of you who don't know, Manon is from France. She's from the south of France, in fact, and she just is so funny in any language, as far as I'm concerned. And as some of you know, I had the privilege of actually getting to meet her in real life because she came to Canada, and I got to spend a few days with her. The person who was meant to take her around Vancouver, you know, bailed on her at the last moment, and I said, not a problem. Let me be that person. Yes, Jody's saying Manon is magical, and Sharon said that she's so sorry that she missed her. Yeah, absolutely. Hi, Iz. Good to see you as well. So we've got sort of a cross-section of things that I want to talk about today. And the first one, obviously, is to wish Nyasha a happy birthday. For those of you who don't know, it's January the 1st is Nyasha's birthday. She also popped in at lunchtime, and so it was nice to get a chance to talk to her as well. And I'm not sure what the story is with Autumn. For those of you who've met Autumn recently in the broadcast, Autumn is due any minute now to drop babies, twins. And so she assured me that when she does, she will let us know. So that is wonderful. Hi, Sarah. Good to meet you, and Happy New Year to you as well. And Sarah, I'm not sure if I've seen your name up here before, and if I have, forgive me, but let us know where in the world you live, and, you know, keep it as broad as you feel comfortable with. We always love to know. And also, if you are fairly new to the channel, then please let us know how you found us. We always love to hear that as well. So I am definitely looking forward to hearing about Autumn's twins. And we're officially due at the beginning of February, but she said apparently they could drop any day now. And hi to Pi. I hope that's how it's spelled, pronounced. Pi, welcome. Always pleased to see new visitors. Big hugs to you all, because I know it sometimes takes great courage to come in on the chat, and we really recommend that people do that if they feel comfortable. Just remember that if you want to say something that's only for the people in the chat, just put a note at the front, which is, Sal, don't talk about this. And then I will put it at the front, because one day I was halfway through reading somebody's comment when it said, and by the way, Sal, don't talk about this. And I'm already halfway through it. You know? Oh, Hi, it's Prince Edward Island. Of course it is. Duh. Well, welcome. And I'm just going to call you Pi. Duh. Well, Jodie's apparently going to call you DJ, and I'm just going to call you Pi. So just get over it. Because then I will always remember that you're from Prince Edward Island. It's much easier for me. I like these little tricks, along the way. I've got, as I said, a variety of things that I thought we would talk about. But first of all, I found this, what I thought was an incredible quote for the new year. And it said, in describing New Year, it said 12 new chapters, 365 new chances. How many of you could see that, we have no idea what 2021 is going to bring us. It could be worse than 2020. We really just don't know. Or it could be a great year without, with great improvement all around. So what I thought was, isn't that a lovely idea? The 12 chapters of 2021. And I think I might sort of do my broadcasts around that. And I just loved 365 new chances. And so, hi, Chip, good to see you, and Happy New Year to you as well. Yes, Sharon, we're all going to pray that it doesn't get any worse, but I got a feeling that the pandemic is definitely going to get worse before it gets better. And so, that's just my reality, if I do it that way. Have any of you ever gone to sleep with the television on? And the answer probably is yes, right? Because you're human beings. It's not just me that does things like that. And what I managed to do somewhere when I was asleep was to turn over and hit the remote so that my television didn't work anymore. Yes, Sarah, they do say there is a new strain out there. Yep, and it's much more virile than the original one. It's easier to transmit and so forth. So we don't know whether it is as deadly, though. That I guess is we're waiting to hear on that one. Anyway, so here I was, went to sleep watching something on television, managed to turn over and hit a button that suddenly my television wasn't working anymore. But first thing I knew was that I woke up the next morning and I couldn't get my television to work the normal way. And I'm thinking, that's weird. The television in the living room works. Why doesn't the television in the bedroom work? And I don't mind telling you that I did all the obvious things and then decided, okay, I've got a problem, but I'm not going to panic about it. You know me. Let me sort of think on this one before I panic. And then I realized that maybe something went wrong with the I don't know, what do you call this bit? What do you call it? The thing that decides whether you're an HDMI or whatever. And that's when I decided I would pick up the remote and start finding out where that button was. And sure enough, 5 days later, I managed to get the television working again in my bedroom. But do any of you relate to that sort of thing where it just takes time for you to work, sort of process it all and go, okay, well, I tried that and that didn't work. So let me now move to plan C because B didn't work either. Go to plan C. I think I was on about plan G when I eventually got it to work. Sarah's asking me, do I think that the vaccine will help the new strain or will they have to make a new one? I want to tell you, Sarah, I wish I had the answer to that. I don't have that crystal ball. My sense is that if it's a new strain, we probably will need a new vaccine. And the reason I say that, the reason it's called COVID-19, the original one that we're talking about, the major pandemic one, is because we've had 18 before it. So this new one could well be COVID-20. And that could be a completely new derivative of it that might need a completely new vaccine, in which case it's going to be another 6 to 9 months before we see one. Yeah, Jody's saying I relate to the problem with the remote. She said, one wrong button on my phone and I've dialed Mars. Yes. How many times have I pocket dialed people? I went, oh, I'm so sorry about that. Not quite sure how that happened. All right, so amongst some of the questions that I was asking at lunchtime, here's one that I thought that I should ask. What important relationship would you like to improve the most this year? In other words, you've got a lot of important... Hi, Rinsky, good to see you. Rinsky's saying that it was called COVID-19 because it was discovered, because it started in 2019. Interesting. I thought it's because... okay, so I'm prepared to be absolutely informed on that one. Thanks, Rinsky. But what I'm thinking about is all the SARS and all the other strains that we have had of different flus. They've all needed their own vaccine. I don't, and then we end up with a composite vaccine that covers most of them. I think that is the truth. Sarah's saying, if there are so many strains, how many vaccines do we need to take not to get sick? Right. The thing is that, as I've been saying every week, Sarah, even if we get the vaccine, you can still get COVID. The reason we take the vaccine is it is less likely to kill you if you've had the vaccine. You are less likely to end up in hospital unless you've got a lot of pre-existing conditions. You are less likely to end up on a ventilator and needing all that sort of medical care. And that is why it is so important for us to get vaccinated. And it is one of the questions that I had. Hi, Autumn. I was talking about you just now. I don't know if you heard me. Are you still with twins, or did they come out to talk to the world? I just, it is, I am certain that if you've been carrying twins for this long, you are more than ready to say hello. And there's part of me that goes, and they're still in there, right? Okay. And I'm certain that you're going, will my body ever be anywhere near the same shape again? Because, carrying twins, pushes your body into so many different, stretchy places, right? So how much extra weight did you put on in carrying twins? I'm trying to remember how much weight Judy put on when she was carrying the twins. But she was really good about keeping fit and keeping her weight down during that time. I was quite impressed with her. All right, so which important relationship would you like to improve even more in 2021? Sharon saying, Autumn, please don't do the baby mama dance during the broadcast. Yeah, we like that one. Oh, Beth is saying she put on 95 pounds with her twins. All right, so Jody's given us even more information on COVID. She's saying the name was selected based on letters from the words CO for corona, VI for virus, and D for disease. And because the outbreak began in 2019. Well, there you are. I actually thought we'd had that many strains. Isn't that interesting? I was totally wrong. That's why I love learning. That's why I love doing the program. Autumn is saying, my body is holding up well, but it hurts so bad. I'm 35 weeks. I think I've gained 32 pounds so far. Okay, and so that is quite something. And I'm just stunned that you're here with us, Autumn, but we're delighted to have you here. All right, so Sarah's asking who in Judy's family had twins that it got passed down. I think it's on Judy's side. not on Benji's. If I remember correctly, it was on Judy's side that they had twins in the family. If anybody can correct me on that one, I'd be delighted if I'm wrong on that. But I don't know why, but my sense was that it was on Judy's side that the twins ran. So, and then really, they are so adorable, aren't they? And it's really, I find them fascinating because if you look at Juliana and her personality, and then you look at the twins, it's like, they're all from the same sort of family, but it's amazing how different they are in so many ways. Obviously, the relationship that I will concentrate on a great deal this year will be my relationship with Patty. And for those of you who might not know, my friend of 30 years, her husband went in for a brain cancer op just before Christmas, and they managed to get 95% of the cancer. And then by Boxing Day, he was gone. It's been horrific in terms of the speed. And I really do believe that I will spend a lot more time with that relationship this year, so that I hopefully can be there for Patty a lot more than I have been in the past year, because I think that in her own way, she will need it more this year. Yeah, it was, something, Rinsky, it was incredible to hear, because I actually heard about it, the broadcast that we did on Saturday. I heard about it 20 minutes before I did the broadcast. And it was just a lesson in how well can I control my emotion? Can I still do the broadcast? And, I could have had the excuse and not done it. I understand that. But, my commitment is to do the broadcast for you, unless I'm really totally unable. And I knew that I probably was going to be okay to do it if I could, and because I thought there was a lesson in there. There was a lesson in there about coping with loss, and we can choose how much we are devastated by it if we have emotional intelligence. And so that's why I wanted to do the broadcast, to really test myself, to see, how well. Right. Hi, Madowix. Good to see you as well. And Madowix is asking, is the corona bad where you are? No, I'm in Canada. And although we are the second largest country in the world, it is amazing, and touch wood, that we have actually done pretty well. We have it here, obviously. But if I think about it, let me just find out the facts on that for a second. Yeah. I'm just looking at the totals here. Okay, in Canada, we've had 383 confirmed cases and 15.6 thousand deaths. Now, I think that will tell you that we've had it pretty much, we've done quite a good job of controlling it. I'm actually, I'm actually quite proud of Canada for the way that it's done it. Brinsky is saying, wow, you heard that news and then you still went on and did the broadcast. You didn't have to, and you did. Yes, the strength is amazing. I think it's more than strength, Brinsky, and Jody will talk to you about this. I'm a great believer in commitments. I don't know about the rest of you. To me, I'm a great believer in commitment. If I say I'm going to do something, now if I'm sick, I will tell you that if I am sick, I think the most common reason I cancel a broadcast is because I genuinely am not well. And I don't mean I've got a bit of a cold. I mean, I am really struggling. When you see me, or I'm overly tired and I think I could put myself at risk. Madowix is saying, but that new strain is in Canada. Yes, it is. But even so, you look at our figures. I'm pretty impressed with that. Jody is saying that is a beautiful way to honor the life of your friend, to carry on with a learning moment and to help others. I believe that's what he would want me to do. And that's why I did it. And I felt very safe in doing that. I didn't feel I was in any way minimizing the sadness. I thought he would really appreciate the fact that I took the moment and did something with it. Yeah. Autumn is saying, my husband works as a critical care paramedic and handles COVID patients very often. It's been stressing. I hope not to catch it. Last night, he worked in a hospital on the COVID ICU floor. Wow. How do you cope with that? And I would think, the stress level that you must have. What does he do when he comes home? Does he just drop everything into the washing machine, or does he leave all his clothes somewhere else? Yeah, Meadowix, my friend went in for my friend's husband went in for a brain tumor op about a week before Christmas. I think it was just about a week before Christmas, and he died on Boxing Day. I mean, I knew nothing about it until he went in for the op. Nobody did. He didn't know that he had cancer in his brain. And so he went in for the op just about a week before Christmas, and he died on Boxing Day, December the 26th. So it was, 1 minute we didn't know anything, and the next minute he was gone. So I want to make sure that my relationship with his wife, who has been my friend for 30 years, is really it gets a bit extra attention this year. Rinsky is saying, Mama Sal, I learned how to during lockdown earlier this year. I would love to make a new blanket to go with you to your new house. Ah, would you accept it as a gift? What an incredible thing. If you go to DearMamaSal at gmail.com, no, wrong thing. Let me try that again. DearMamaSal.com. DearMamaSal, one word, .com. That is the website. And one of the tabs at the top of the website is Contact Us. And that is where the P.O. Box number is. Meadowix is asking, he had no symptoms before he went in. Yes, he had been having a lot of trouble with his eyes. He had over the last few months been, in fact, over the last year, I would say, progressively getting less and less vision in his eyes. And he had been for multiple tests on his eyes, and they just said he was losing his vision. But, eventually, in that last little while, Patty got really insistent that they do an MRI and have a look at his brain. And that's when they found it. Unfortunately, too late. Okay, so Autumn is saying her husband, when he works in ICU or anywhere COVID, I would presume, he puts them all in the washer and does a long sanitizing cycle. He takes a shower right after. His partner had COVID earlier this year. She coughed around him in the ambulance, and we didn't get it. Yeah. We have been very blessed not to get sick. And Amber, we pray that you will continue to have that happen. I was saying at lunchtime, Amber, that my dear friend and tenant for 20 years, Yvonne, the people that bought my house, the whole family got COVID, and they lived on the top floor of the house. And Yvonne lives at the ground floor level. And they're sharing the same ventilation, the same washer dryers, everything. And it was amazing that, it didn't spread downstairs. That was incredible. Right. Meadowix is saying that I'd be uncomfortable living with a hospital worker. Well, if that hospital worker is a medical person, I mean, by virtue of their job, that's what they do. Or if they're an EMT, if they're any of those frontline positions, I think we all would feel a little uncomfortable. But I think also we have to see that, it's quite honestly, it seems to be the luck of the draw whether you're going to get it or not. And, it's the same thing. If you have to go into hospital for an operation, doesn't mean you're going to get it. I've had to go in for x-rays and things. I was super careful, but even so, just being near around people that were way sick, it was a risk. But then life is a risk. That's the thing I always talk about. Understand that, probably the most lethal weapon we have ever designed in our lifetime is called a motor car. And we don't think twice about getting in there and driving every day. So be careful as you can, but be aware that, you can't control it, right? It's when I say you can't control it, you can minimize your chances, but, you can literally have somebody just walk by you and cough, and who knows, right? And so Autumn, all of us are praying for you to have a wonderful time with these babies. I know you're not going to get any sleep for about 6 months. Neither is your husband. So, this is called, if you can get sleep now, get it. Because is this your first, or have you had children before this? Autumn is saying, yeah, it is uncomfortable when you have somebody who's in the medical profession as your partner. All I can do is pray and take care of my body. I take a lot of supplements. Yes, I think that's really important. A lot of us are eating different foods and making sure that our supplements are strong, making sure that we're exercising. I'm going to talk a bit more about that in a second. And, doing what we can to make sure that our bodies are stronger, even if, because we're going to get more exposed, not less. I'm going to say again, before we forget, be prepared to pick up some great deals this year, especially in the front half, because I think a lot of people will be trying to get rid of Christmas stock. I'm not sure, I haven't seen the figures, but my sense is people probably spent a little bit less on Christmas presents this year. Is that true in your household? Let me know. And how many of you, because you maybe spent less this year, are not going to have quite as big a nut to crack in terms of your bills in January? How many of you feel that you are under control in terms of your Christmas spending? I'm just going to check it this weekend, but I think I'm pretty clear on my credit cards and stuff. Actually, I only have one credit card, but I'm pretty clear. I think I've got a bit to pay off, but after that, I'm done. Interesting. Meadowick says, I ride a motorcycle, which is dangerous, but I feel most alive when I'm riding. It's been a good outlet during the pandemic. I'm careful. Absolutely. You have to live. I quite agree with you, Meadowick. And to be able to get out in the fresh air and feel the wind, I would imagine riding on a motorbike right now is heaven. Be careful. Be careful, because I'm not sure where you are, but it's icy out there. Sharon saying, my daughter lives with me. She works at a children's hospital, and we're being as careful as we can. So far, we've been able to avoid it. Yes, you see, that's what I said. Just keep being careful. Autumn saying, I have a 4-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old son. My husband will have 2 weeks off. My mom will help 2 to 3 days a week, and I've had a postpartum doula. Really? She will come 2 8-hour nights for a week. She will come 2 8-hour nights per week for 6 weeks. That is wonderful. So you're going to have the ability to almost have some time to sleep. You probably still won't, but it's nice to know. Yes, Rinsky's saying, yes, I spent less than on Christmas this year. I think it's really important to understand. I think it's part of our learning this year. I think this whole pandemic has taught us we don't have to be as stupid as we have been in the past, right? And in a way, although I gave less, I don't think I spent less necessarily. Medowix is saying, I didn't buy presents or receive many. Christmas is false, in my opinion. And I went to bed at 10 p.m. on New Year's Eve. It's just overrated. Yes, well, I was saying that at lunchtime today, Medowix, that as you get older, you know, the joy of New Year is different. Again, I went to bed late, but it wasn't because I was up partying or anything, because I live on my own. But when I got up this morning before the broadcast this morning, I spent a bit of time, you know, looking at some of the fireworks, and I'm going to carry on looking at the New Year's celebration around the world. I was really impressed with the one in Seattle. I thought that was just so creative and unusual and just mind-blowing. And of course, Dubai is always a big show. And I love the way that Dubai honored all the medical people. I thought they did a good job at that. Rinsky saying, it's going to be a while. This is about the blanket because I haven't started yet. Well, I want to tell you something. It's not about that, you know, Rinsky. The fact that you do even think about it is magical. Now, I do need to tell you that just so that you can think about this, if you remember, Pat sent me 2 quilts, right? This one and the one that's on my bed. And I also, you remember the blanket that was given to me as I sat shivering after, while the fire engines were there putting my house fire out. That neighbor came across with an incredibly warm blanket to keep me warm. And I actually said to them, I returned it. Afterwards, I kept it for about 2 weeks because it was the only thing I had for a while. And after 2 weeks, I had it, washed it, and then I returned it to them. But when I was chatting to them, they said, you didn't have to return the blanket. And I said, well, you know, funny enough, I nearly didn't, because it was my lifeline for 2 weeks. And the next week, they delivered it back to me and said, keep the memory. Isn't that wonderful? So I've got quite a few warm things. And remember, I live on my own, you know, so I, you know, to my mind, it's a very kind thought. And I won't take away from that. If you still want to make me a blanket, that's really, you know, your joy. Medowix is saying, New Year is for teenagers. I enjoy a quiet night. And to be honest, 2021 may not be much to celebrate. I agree. We have to think about that. I think the pandemic will get worse. I do as well. Vaccines will take months or even 2 years to have an effect. I think that's being very realistic, Medowix. And I don't think it's being negative. I actually think that is being very realistic, that it could take 2 years before this settles down anyway. Yeah, and Autumn is saying, I feel the same way, Medowix. I don't think this year will be much different as far as the pandemic goes. No, I think it'll get, the difference is that we will keep being grateful for the fact we haven't got it, is my belief. All right, so now then, have any of you found that with the pandemic and Christmas and everything, that your sleep cycle has gone out of whack? My sleep cycle is so far out of whack, it's not even funny. I used to get to bed by 1 or 2. Now I find I'm not getting to sleep until about 3 or 4. And that means I'm not waking up until, 10, 11, 12, noon. Amazing. Autumn is saying, my daughter keeps asking, when the silly virus will be gone. And we're all wondering when the silly virus, I don't think it'll ever be gone. I think it'll be part of our lives. We'll just be able to protect ourselves from it better. Yes, and Medowix, I agree with you. Medowix is saying, and the economic crisis will kick in this year too. I agree with you. And that's why I have been, under my Be Prepared, Not Scared segment, have been warning my viewers of that, which is be prepared that the prices are going to go way up as inflation hits. And we are going to be dealing with less money. Because how are we going to pay for this? And our generation definitely won't be able to pay for it. You know, the millennials won't be able to pay for it. This could take decades to pay off the debt that we're, you know, you can't just print money and not pay it. You know, it has to be, you can print it, but it's going to affect the value of money will go down if you just keep printing it. And if you, the other thing is this, that if you don't help people survive, then you're going to have a spike in all sorts of other things. I think we still don't know what the cost of mental health is going to be. And I think that's a really big issue that we need to look at. That's why I am being so careful to keep myself entertained, to keep my exercise up and increase it dramatically. I want to make sure that my mental health is okay during all of this. Medowix is saying herd immunity won't be achieved really ever. There will always be COVID around. I agree. They can't vaccinate every person on Earth. No, they can't. And, you know, from what I've heard, Medowix, and you're obviously, you know, quite aware, from what I've been reading, the third world countries, it may take, you know, it could take a year or more for the vaccines to get to them in a decent amount. And how much will the virus have been spread by then? You see, the other thing is this. I find it very interesting that we're all being locked down the way that we are, yet the children are allowed to go to school. And children, we know, can spread it. Yes, Jody is saying to Medowix that because it will continue to mutate. I think that's a very good point. Chip is saying mental health doesn't seem to be considered here in the States while we're in this pandemic, now that I think of it. That's why I talk about it, because there is no doubt in my mind that our psyches will have been shifted somewhat. You know, especially I would say in the young people today, you know, who grew up in a world where they, you know, they could basically have whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted it. You know, it's I want it now mentality. And I think as we go into the financial crunch of which Medowix speaks, you know, they're going to have to learn to be more patient and to save up, because money won't be as readily available. And people will, you know, we haven't yet seen the mass of people losing their jobs and being homeless. And will it be so bad, you know, that it will get to be dangerous? I don't know. Yes, and Medowix is saying that air travel can't go back to normal until goodness knows well. And yet, look how many people traveled over Christmas. I mean, that horrified me to see how many people decided, hey, it's worth taking the risk, I'm going home. You know, and I'm getting on an airplane. Autumn is saying, I had my daughter in preschool. She needs it so badly for her own mental health. So glad for how well her school handles it. So far, things have been good. And I pray that your preschooler continues to be safe, and therefore that the family does. Medowix is saying, I just saw a video on Times Square. They said it will be 2024 before tourism gets back to normal. Yep, if we're lucky. I think, if we're lucky. And now think about this, Medowix. Think about the countries whose livelihood is tourism, right? Think about those countries. Think about, you know, how Hawaii will cope without a lot of tourism. Think about what will happen to Disneyland, Disney World, all those sort of things, and all the jobs that will be lost and have been lost already and will continue to be lost because of it. So it is going to be a huge shift. And some people who have put all their money into making their countries tourist meccas, if you like, they're going to have to find an alternative source of income, I think. And that'll be very innovative to see how they do that. So I'm interested that I wasn't the only one whose sleep cycle seems to be a bit out of whack. It is one of my goals for January. My first chapter 1 is January. One of my goals in January is to try and get my sleep back to some sort of normalcy. I would like to go back to being in bed by 2 at the very latest. But I also have to say that I have been binge watching more than I've ever binge watched in my life. And there have been some good things to binge watch as well. Autumn, very good point. Autumn is saying, see, I love it when people can see the positive of things. Autumn is saying, this is why I'm so grateful my husband is in medicine. He won't lose his job. Good point, right? And there'll be more people needed because, we will lose more medical people and so forth, during the crisis. So if you've got young people wondering what to get into, think about that. My question actually is, have any of you been vaccinated yet? And while you're answering that, Jodi's saying that her sleep cycle is ugly right now. Yeah. So Jodi, you and I are going to keep a better watch on our sleep in the next month and see how we do. Meadowix is saying, but they happily rip us tourists off in the good times, so they got to take the bad with the good. I don't think I get ripped off in being a tourist. That's my choice. If I want to buy, the stupid things, that's my choice. I don't see that as a ripoff. I actually have to say that I did get to go to Hawaii for the first time in my life. Was it year before last? And I didn't find it a ripoff. I didn't find it nearly as touristy as I expected. I found it really interesting that, and I don't, to me, when I go to a tourist destination, I try to keep away from what I call the tourist traps. And I think that's how I don't get ripped off. Now, did I go to see a, luau type thing when I was in Hawaii? Yes. And, because that's part of being in Hawaii. If I hadn't done that, I think I would have left it. I also am very pleased to say that Benji and I rented a Ferrari, a Thomas Magnum type red Ferrari, and we went up the island, and it was wonderful. That was memory. He didn't let me drive it. I was quite upset about that. But anyway, so be it. Nyasha's saying about her birthday, well, somewhat well spent. I couldn't go shopping for my birthday or for Christmas. None of us could, honey. But I still needed to go out, but instead all right, and you cooked a meal for yourself, so it was okay. Yeah, we're all learning to do the best we can. Chip is saying, I work from home. I go to the grocery store once a week. It's been said that it'd be one last chance to receive the vaccine here. Oh, I would be one of the last to receive the vaccine here in the city. Yes, and also I wonder, for example, even though I would be fairly high on the list because of my age and pre-existing, would I I would definitely give up my spot for frontline workers. I've got to tell you that. Even though I might go ahead of some because of my history, I would give up my spot so that, that more frontline workers and retail people could get the virus ahead of me. And yes, just saying, even though she couldn't do what she would normally have done for her birthday, she worked on what she could do. And she said, I tried my best to enjoy it. That's my slogan here. Don't waste time telling me what you can't do. Tell me what you can do and do it. Then good for you, Nyasha. You definitely have changed your mentality since you joined us. Now, there's part of me that you can probably imagine is realizing that I am, by springtime, I hopefully will be back in my house. And I really have to tell you, let me ask you, the regular viewers that come online for the chat, what will you look forward to seeing when I get back to my house? What is it that you have missed in the fact that I'm not at home? That I'm here in this rented apartment while they easy for me to say, rebuild my house. And I'm going to tell you what I miss. There are two things in particular that I am beginning to miss big time. And I'll say that while you guys are typing, but one of them is my big coffee mugs. You remember I always had that big coffee mug, with my name on it. I really miss that. I may have to buy a new one just, in the meantime. Oh, interesting. Autumn is saying, I still go out to Target for fun, but I go at night. Clever. When not many people are there, I can socially distance myself. It's wonderful, however. I get my groceries through Instacart. Yes, I have all my groceries delivered, but yesterday I actually went into a store because I wanted to buy some meat. And I thought, I'm just going to go in there. And I had a real problem because I came in the store here, but the meat section was all the way over here. And it's all one way now. And I didn't know how to get there quickly. So me, I was the pathetic gray-haired lady. And I said, I need to get over to the meat store. How do I do that quickly? Amazing how many people helped me. Oh, it's interesting. Jody's saying she misses everything. I miss the greeting in the kitchen cupboards. For those of you who don't know, I used to have my laptop for the broadcast. I put it in my kitchen cabinets and I would open the doors. And yes, I miss that as well. I cannot tell you how much I miss my countertops. Now, I got beautiful countertops here, but they're dark, almost black. And you know something? If I put my phone down on those countertops, it takes me a week to find it. At least when my black phone is on gray countertops, you've got a chance of seeing it, right? You understand that? That's why I wanted to show you. But, you've got, sort of black on black. I have to go and find the phone and phone my cell phone to find out where it is. And how much space have I got here? And I can go around 3 or 4 times looking in all the obvious places, and I still won't see it. And the stove top is black as well, so you'll be amazed how many times I find it on top of the stove. Get a tile. What a good idea. Yeah, what I do now, though, Autumn, is I make sure that I take some paper with me and I put my phone on paper, on white paper. And, I've got sort of bits of paper around the place so that I can put my phone there. Oh, Kez is saying, I miss how bright the kitchen was. Yeah, that makes me cry. Yeah, I miss how bright everything was in there. But you know what I did do though, Kiz? I did confirm to myself why I decided to buy the manufactured home and not an apartment. If you remember, that was a big discussion. And I now know I made the right decision for me, after 3 months of living in an apartment. And by the way, there's no sense of community here. Oh, interesting. Medovic says that I put a big sticker on my black phone case. Yes, but the back of my phone is red, so I'm trying to learn to put it down that way, so that at least I've got a chance of seeing it. Good ideas. But I can't put a sticker on the front of it, right, for obvious reasons. So I'm presuming that nobody has had the vaccination yet. By the way, are any of you planning not to have it? And this is not a judgment. This is just asking out of interest if any of my viewers are planning not to have the vaccine. Right. So, Medivix, you see, I think that apartment living is great for certain people. Two things that are really important in my life: light, light, and people. Okay, Sharon, great to see you. Thank you so much for popping in, and Happy New Year, honey. So to me, that's why I made the decision to get a manufactured home where I had windows, all the way around me, and not go into a box. The other thing is I like space. I like space to do things and close doors and, so forth. So I can see that I really did make the right decision, but I am really proud of what I have been doing to control my mental health in a small closed environment. I make sure I go out at least twice a week, just for the sake of going out. If necessary, just go and drive the car for half an hour. But I actually now plan my week around that is the day that I'm going to do this. Medowix is asking my thoughts on retirement homes. Dangerous places to be right now, I would think. But I think you're asking, would I consider going into one? I may not have a choice. I don't have family in the country. So, I don't know. I could end up in a retirement home. And I would cause trouble. How many of you going, oh, yeah. And they'd probably medicate me to the gills just to keep me quiet. But I'm not planning to be there anytime soon. I look at it at 73. My big goal is to keep healthy and active as best I can. And by the way, talking about that, let me just, and I know that we're coming up to it soon, so I might as well start talking about it. But I wanted to show you, I've been talking a lot about exercise that I've been doing. So I want you to see, that I am in my small apartment and I did 39 minutes of exercise between the two broadcasts today. Yesterday, I did nearly an hour, 57 minutes. Okay. The day before, 47 minutes. You understand? So to me, I'm really working on the principle. When I talk to my doctor about the fact, and I am doing what I can to keep myself active, I can show him what I'm doing. Medowix is saying human contact and activity and hobbies, very, very important. And Jodie's saying, she's nodding her head, yes, Sal will cause a stir. Wherever I go, I always do. It's just who I am. Now then, I'm not sure who's male and female, but it's a new year. I'm going to ask all the women in the broadcast at the moment, when did you last check your bra size? And by the way, now that we're buying so much online, be very careful. I have found that quite a few of them actually do have a measuring chart attached to it. And that is really important to look at if you can, because I noticed that some of them say take your measurement above your boobs for the band size, above your boobs. Others say take it below. But I guess the way that they do theirs, you know, how they do their measuring is the way you need to know. So if you're buying, bras and things online, make sure you check if they've got a measuring chart. I was amazed how different the measurements are by the people who are manufacturing them. MeadowX is asking, do you drink? Yes, a lot of coffee. But I think you're asking, am I a drinker? No. I probably have, over the Christmas period, a total of 1 glass of wine. So, that is, that is my total intake. Yeah, Jody, and this is the other thing that I wanted to say. I just want to get onto this story because as each new season comes, and I've got to say this about bras, each new season I ask myself, if I bought one new bra, what color would I want? So what happens is in the winter, I'll probably buy another black one. But in the spring, I'd probably buy either a neutral one or a white one. That makes sense because I try each season to buy a new bra. And undies too. So the reason I just get one is I find that, the average bra, depending on where you get it, it's going to cost you somewhere between 20 and 30 bucks. And my attitude is, one every season. I can get that sort of almost with my grocery order and not notice it too much. Autumn is saying, when I'm done breastfeeding, I'll get measured. Can't wait to wear a real bra again. Yes, I'm sure. I've worn nursing bras for the past 5 years. Yeah. So exactly. And I can imagine how pleased you will be. Anyway, I thought I'd give that a thought. When did you last measure yourself? It's not a case of how long have you been fitting yourself into the size you think you are? Maybe I should ask that question. Do any of you relate to that? Yeah, I refuse to accept that I'm not a 36B anymore. I've been wearing that for the last 20 years. I'm a bit scared to really find out what my proper size would be, but it gets difficult. And by the way, have you found that with clothes as well? It's just like, why can't they make it gospel that, an XL is this size, right? And, in clothing, it has to be exactly the size. Doesn't matter where in the world you buy it, XL is this size. Yep. Kez is saying, when you said that you cause a muck, I cause a stir wherever I go, don't I? You instantly thought of me on a scooter, speeding and getting into trouble. Yep. How many of you can see me getting, I actually thought about getting an electric scooter because I thought that'd be really good to keep your balance because it could be trouble. And Kez is also saying, they say that most women are wearing the wrong size bra. I believe that. Oh, you mean a scooter like one of those, vroom, vroom, sit down type ones. Yeah, I'd be organizing races, don't you? Or treasure hunts. And yeah, that's so cute that you guys can see me doing that. But I was actually thinking about possibly getting an electric scooter for the summer. I thought that'd be really nice to have an electric scooter that I could get on and just pop up to the local store when we can go back to doing that normally again. Isn't it funny that you guys can see me causing trouble? I wonder why. Duh. Oh, that's interesting. Medowix is saying, I bought a load of shorts to small waist last year, and now I buy elastic waisted. Yeah, exactly. I think we're all doing that now. Autumn is saying, I used a scooter at Target because I'm so pregnant. Last week, I ran into a display. They forgave you, I'm sure. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about, getting a motor scooter. You know, just like an electric Vespa is what I'm thinking about, rather than the other sort of scooter. Two-wheeler. You know something? I am delighted to hear that you, weren't perfect riding around in one of those carts. I should, I don't think I can try one yet, but I'm getting closer. Interesting. Chip is saying, I'm normally in comfortable sports bras. You see, that's what I think we need to have a discussion about these things, because now that our lifestyle has changed so much, do we really need, the same sort of stuff that we did before? That's part of it. By the way, what we're talking about is coping, and I try to repeat this every week, that coping means to invest one's own conscious effort to solve personal and interpersonal problems in order to try and master, minimize, or tolerate stress, and conflict. And, it's really important that we stay very honest about what's happening to us as we go into the new year. It's so important. Yeah, Medowix is saying electric scooters are becoming more popular, the two-wheeler types, right? Autumn is saying, really nice lady who was shopping fixed the display and told me to keep going. Now that's what you call a decent human being. And she would have had the pleasure of going home to say, I helped this incredibly pregnant person today. Now, here's a quote from that well-known philosopher, DearMamaSal. She said, I know, and this is talking about exercise. I said, I know I want to do it when I stopped giving excuses and start working on it. And let me quote that correctly. It says, I know I want to do it when I stop giving excuses and just work on it. How many of you agree with me on that one? We always do what we want to do, and we always give excuses for the things we don't want to do. And I want us all to remember that in 2021. You will do exactly what you want to do. And you will have the best excuses in the world for the things you don't want to do. Oh, interesting. Kez is saying, and by the way, everybody in the retirement place would hear your laughter, laughing loudly. Yeah, because Anyway, she says her mother just got a folding mobility scooter. Oh, that sounds like fun, doesn't it? And I'd have them all chucking paint around, don't you? So I wanted to talk a little bit. So how many of you want to improve your exercise in 2021? Or give up something else? I'm thinking about, is anybody still smoking that wants to give up smoking? You see, I've been somebody who was addicted to smoking. I am now struggling with giving up sugar. So I'm looking at it and going, you will know you really want to do it when you do it, all right? If you're still giving excuses, you don't really want to do it. Somebody else thinks you want to do it, or somebody else wants you to do it. But when you want to do it, you will stop giving the excuses. I am amazed that I have found the time to do the exercise now. And I'm not doing 10 minutes anymore. I'm up to 3/4 of an hour. Now, obviously, I've got the same amount of time in my day, so something had to give. And what's given is some of the time I sit on the computer. I've given up some of my computer time so I can get more exercise. Interesting, Midowix is saying, my mom is your age, but she's a bitter, angry woman. I'm sorry to hear that. Linda says, I want to exercise. Are you going to, Linda? There's a difference, right? One is what you want to do, one is what you're going to do. So remember, if you're giving excuses, you don't really want to do it. You will know that you really want to exercise when you start. I make exercise now part of my get up routine. I crawl out of bed, I make coffee, I go to my computer, I drink 1 or 2 cups of coffee while I sort out my admin stuff, emails and stuff like that. I then exercise, and then I hit the shower. Do you understand? So now it is that time is part of my get up routine. It's no longer if I have time, well, if I feel like it. It's like, this is what I do. As Jody is my witness to this one. For those of you who don't know, Jody is our admin, and she and I are in contact every day. And so Autumn is saying, I would love to improve my core muscles and pelvic floor this year. Great, core muscles. I've been doing a lot of work on that, just doing yoga and stuff. And I am amazed how much I've improved. I literally, in terms of, I bought a secondhand Wii Fit to help me do yoga exercises and things, and to do my pretend running. Like this, you know, and I am amazed how much I've improved, quite honestly. And when I started, just so that you know, I had trouble with some of the getting on and off the Wii board to rhythm and so forth. I have problems with my left-hand side because, if you remember, I was having problems with arthritis on my left side. And you'll be surprised to see how much better I'm doing. So what I'm saying is, know what it is you want to work on. And if you want to work on your core muscles, all right, find a fun exercise to do. Kez is saying, I need to get more fit and more energy and stronger core as well. It's easier to walk up and down stairs, but first I need to work on my mindset, because the moment I'm not doing anything. I actually found to find something that's fun to do made a difference for me. Oh, interesting. Autumn's saying, I already scheduled pelvic floor therapy after the twins, so I know I will be improving. Excellent idea. Now, I wanted to ask you, do you all know that the trick about exercise, when I started, Jody helped me with this one. I think I was doing 10 minutes exercise, and proud of myself for doing that. 10 minutes on the Wii, or 15 maybe. And that was doing just basic yoga things. The next thing I knew, I found that they had, you know, like a walking thing, a running thing, but I knew I couldn't run it, but I could walk it. And I, you know, started on the 10-minute walk. Then I went to the longer one. Then I went to the 15-minute walk. That's right. And now, this is like in 2 months, now I do a 15-minute warm-up walk. I then do 30 minutes non-stop of another walk. And then I finish with a third one, a shorter one, another 15. I'm doing close to 3/4 of an hour to an hour of exercise now because of that. All right, so then, yes, Jody's saying that once I started doing the yoga thing, I automatically wanted to do other things. And so the next thing was walking, and I automatically started to increase my time because I was having fun and doing the balance work. Now, the interesting thing is, I'm finding the running stuff more interesting than the balance stuff now. So now I'm going to need to make the conscious effort to go back to doing some of those balance things a bit more, maybe a couple of times a week or something. Here's my question to you. My question is, think about this. Think about this. I realize now that the reason I didn't do exercise was it was boring to me. You know, I mean, it's effort, right? You got to put the shoes on, you got to get outside, and oh, look at the weather. What I loved about getting the Wii was it was fun. It was like playing Super Mario with bells on, you know, or, you know, it was just like, oh, this is fun. Plus, it could be pouring rain, outside or snowing or whatever, and I could still do it, and I can still do it. Plus, it's got a step board, so you can do stuff where you're stepping up and down. I'm going, this has got to be good. By the way, I just got a new program for it, which has got some other new things that I can play with, right, just to occupy my mind. So the point that I'm trying to make, though, is I'd like you to challenge yourself. Can you concentrate on exercise for 10 minutes? All right. Now, here's something else I wanted to show you. How many of you, let me see if I can get this for you, because I wanted to show you this. How many of you would love to take a walk around that canyon? Yeah. Or how many of you would love to walk around that little village in Italy? Or hang on a second, I've got to get back there. Oops. And the reason I'm asking you this is it is amazing. This is not, I just nuked where I wanted to go. Okay, here we go. How about, I'm just going to show you a couple more, because if this doesn't inspire you, nothing will. Between the two broadcasts, I took a walk along a lake in the Banff National Park in Canada. Why? They've got it on YouTube. Oh, there we go. The Moraine Lake in Banff. And let me show you what that looks like. I did this between the two broadcasts. Oh, don't do that to me. I hate it when it does that. Come on, don't do that to me. I will not be beaten by a machine. You know that. So I took that walk around the lake at Banff, part of the lake only. It took me half an hour. I was happy as can be. And thinking after the broadcast, I'll show you the one that I want to do after the broadcast. I thought I'd walk around there. There is a virtual walk around the pyramids. So you understand, we've got so much great technology. Now, the question that I found is, this is the real question. How many of you want to put yourselves to the test this week to find out how long can you just pretend to walk? I just literally, I don't even worry about moving my legs up and down. I keep moving the top half of my body, okay? Like this, like I'm walking and I almost like grabbing something as I go, all right? And then I speed it up, all right? And so forth. But you can see from the graphs that I showed you, all right, that it's definitely having an effect on my heart rate, which is what aerobics is all about. So my attitude is, why would I not, if I get bored with the Wii one day, why don't I take a walk around, some pyramids in Egypt? Or, maybe I will go walk the beach in Waikiki. But, there's so many virtual walks at the moment. Oh, Meadowix is in New Zealand. And by the way, I did notice that the comment about the fact that New Zealand is virus-free. I know that they had a little bit of a blip. Has it gone virus-free again? Because I know it was virus-free and then there was a blip. They got one case or two cases or something. So it's great to hear that they're virus-free again. They've done a great job. So, and that I just thought I'd talk about that in case people don't know that there are now virtual walks on YouTube. Just literally type in, virtual walks, and try some. The point that I keep trying to make here is, can you concentrate on letting the world go for 10 minutes? You will be so surprised how difficult that is. Oh, well, I think I've done that now. I think I'll quickly. No, keep walking. And your mind will keep wanting to pull you away from doing the walking because, you need to go make another cup of coffee. No, I don't. I need to walk. I find that has been a tremendous challenge, which is to control my mind to keep walking. And now I can do it. I see it as a personal challenge. I started off not being able to do much more than 10 minutes before I got bored. And now, yes, Rinsky's saying it's very much like meditation for me. That is exactly what I was going to say. I take it as my meditation time. And, you will find that ideas will come to you. So have a piece of paper and a pencil there so you can quickly write it down and carry on walking. Don't lose the good ideas, people. It's very important to keep those good ideas. Miasha said, I've been wondering, is there an actual exercise app that allows you to see where you're going while pretending to walk? Yes, that's what I'm saying. When you've got an elliptical, Miasha, and you've got a phone, you can put up a virtual walk and then walk on, using your elliptical, walk all the way around the pyramids in Egypt, or, walk a glacier lake in, Alberta, Canada. There are so many different walks. There's a beautiful one of, a beautiful walk in Croatia that I saw that I'm looking forward to doing. So, it's not an app. You just need to literally type into your device, whatever it is, your laptop, your, this is just, on your tablet, whatever. And these things, let me see if I can get one of these started so you can see. Well, this one is the Oregon Trail I've got here as well. Okay. So, the Tunnel of Love in the Ukraine. Hang on, let me show you that one. How many of you would love to walk down there? Isn't that beautiful? So it's available to us. My question is, hear me again. How long can you let go of the world for? Is it 5 minutes? 10? I'm up to 45 minutes of concentrating on doing some exercise. I am really amazed. All right, Nasha's saying, I didn't know that. I'm going to look this up after the broadcast and try it. That's what my job is to help you here. Try the Milford track in New Zealand. Really, hang on a second, let me copy that. That requires coordination. Don't type, people, don't type. Wait. Sal's got to copy that. Oops. Copy. And now I will go to my calendar. And is it there already as a virtual walk on YouTube? I'm about to find out. Oops. That's not what I wanted to copy. Okay, that's the wrong thing. Did you say the Milford track? The Milford track, yeah. Why didn't it copy that properly? Oh, that did this time. Save. All right, so I'll look that up. So Autumn says, my sister and I have done the same workout video together over FaceTime before. It was nice. Yes, with Zoom and everything else, you could do that, take a walk with a friend if you both, have the same, both put, the pyramids up and go, okay, let's walk the pyramids today. What a great idea. Okay. And by the way, for those of you who cannot walk, I'm thinking, those of you who are not able to stand up, It's about, I've been doing tests to see if I sit and do this, does it still push my heart rate up? And the answer is yes. Not as much. Obviously, standing uses more. Now, the other thing is that I do, just so you know, I actually shift my weight. You're probably not surprised to hear that. So in other words, I will do maybe 10 minutes of just straightforward like this. And then I will start doing 20 leaning forward on my left leg, 20 paces like this. Then I'll come back to center. And then I'll put out my right leg and I'll do 20 forward, putting pressure on my right leg. Then I will come back to center. And then I will put my foot back and do 20 paces, with my weight now going backwards onto my leg. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I keep going around like this, and then I'll rotate it around anti-clockwise. And then I will just carry on for another thing. I keep doing that because that's all making my muscles of my legs and hips and something else work differently. Now then, I want to add one other thing to this. I actually will do 3 different walks a day with different shoes on. Why do you think I'm going to put on different shoes to do different walks? See if anybody can see that. I will purposely do one walk with this pair of shoes. I'll do one walk without any shoes on, and I will go and get another pair of shoes and do that. Yes, Jody, you know me really well. I realize that different shoes, because the shoe heels are at different heights, will use different muscles. And, doing a walk without shoes on will use different muscles. And then, of course, stepping up and down onto my Wii balance board will use different muscles. And so I'm looking at how many things can I incorporate here? What can I do without even leaving the house? And it's working. So my question is, start working out this first chapter of 2021. Can you concentrate, with some consistency? Can you concentrate on doing some sort of movement? Let's call it movement, because it doesn't have to be running or even walking. It can be pretend walking, all right? Can you do it consistently for 10 minutes a day, at least 4 days a week? Can you do it for more than that? It requires skill to let go of the world and make that part of your day. I'd be very interested. Who of you wants to take up that challenge? Anybody? Just to see by this time next week how much you can concentrate on doing that this year. Anybody? Because I'm going to keep talking about it, and I'd much rather talk about your success rather than mine. Jody is going to. Okay, Jody, you understand? You can sit in your lazy boy upright, all right, and use your upper body if you have to. I know that standing is difficult because of your ALC. So think about what you can do and see how many. Remember, we did that test, about arm roll. Maybe you arm roll your way around the pyramids. Because we have proven over the last couple of years, Jody, that just going like this pushes up your heart rate. And so this is like, if you want to do it, you can. You know that because you did it with me a year ago. Nyasha's saying, I just looked at it and it's wonderful. I'm going to try this after the broadcast. I never knew about this because I can actually now see where I'm going virtually. That's why I thought I'd talk about it, Nyasha. I don't think a lot of people know that that's available. If you're lucky enough to have an elliptical or a treadmill, put one of these walks on and just walk. By the way, if you're musical, put music on and just walk for 3 songs. Right? The average song is 3 minutes, I think. And so 3, that would be 12 minutes. All right. So Jody's going to commit for 3 days this week to spending how much time, Jody? Rinsky saying, I thought I'd share what I'm doing to help my sleep issues in case someone might benefit too. Thank you very much. I type in YouTube sleep healing 417 megahertz or something like that, and I listen while I sleep. Yes, some really great music available, and not necessarily music either. It's just, it's awesome that you're doing something about it. Linda's saying, I'm done with abandoning myself. Good. I'll commit to 30 minutes minimum of movement 5 days a week. Wow. Way to go, Linda. I am so proud of you. By the way, Linda, it's okay if you only do 10. Just get consistent. And I got something to add. Jody, remind me to add the endurance thing. Kez is saying, YouTubed and found a channel called 4K Relaxation Channel that has soothing music and camera positions so you can feel like you're walking right in the nature place screen. We like that. And take a little screen grab of that too and put it in my day timer. All right, because we're going to try share these things with each other because that's how we find fun things to do. Rinsky is saying, I will commit to 30 minutes at least 5 days a week. Wow. Those are big goals, people. If you only did 15, I'd be very proud of you. You see, the 5 days a week is what's important. And exercising can help with sleep, apparently, Autumn is saying. Now then, let me tell you, I was saying this at lunchtime, and I want to repeat it here because I got different people here. What I've discovered, and it blows my mind, I don't understand the physics of it. But what I discovered is walking, like to a rhythm like this for 10 minutes, as long as you got that rhythm going and you keep it up, okay, burns more calories and then wearing yourself out and needing to rest and then running again. So do you understand that just literally doing this at a consistent pace for 10 or 15 minutes will actually raise your heart rate better than the sprint, stop type thing? And you want to know how I know? I've got, first of all, the Wii tells me that, if I'm speeding up because I want to chase a dog, you can follow dogs in Wii, and I like to follow the dogs. They go nice places. But I'll speed up, and then the Wii will tell me, sorry, you've quickened your pace, and it's not good. So Autumn's saying, I can't commit now, but to be honest, but I'll be there cheering you on. You know something? We'd be delighted if you would be our cheerleader. I know you're going to be a bit busy. But maybe you just watch the virtual walks while you're feeding the babies. You know what I mean? That's something to think about as well. It would actually be maybe peaceful for you. Think about that. Maybe that's a way that, when the babies are crying and you're busy feeding in the middle of the night, maybe think about putting some of those on just so that you can relax while the babies are busy feeding. We're here to, solve all sorts of problems. I hope you guys realize why I'm saying this. I'm glad you also understand why I changed my shoes. Now, here's the next thing I did. And this is all not because I have to, it's just because it happens naturally. I noticed that I was holding my Wii controller in one hand, but nothing in the other hand. And I thought that's stupid because I've got more weight in my right hand now than I've got in my left. So now I've started carrying the Wii controller in my right hand and a bottle of water in my left. Okay. How many of you know I'm already beginning to look into what if I got arm weights? Now I'm going, but I've got them, they were in the fire, but I've got them at home. I'm going, I might need to rebuy them. Or I just need to get bigger bottles of water. How about a couple of soup cans, people? Can you, if you manage to do 15 minutes regularly, for a month. Then say to yourself, okay, now then, I think I'll take a couple of cans of baked beans. Jody's saying, I was thinking about how calming it was when Sal took us on a virtual tour of the bird sanctuary. Yep. And butterflies. Jody, remind me to get the link of that. I'll put it up for you, Rinsky, on Facebook. You follow the Facebook page, right? I'll put it up there for you, the link. I actually went round. I so enjoyed it the first time. I went round twice. I remember that. Autumn's saying, I believe my body is constantly exercising at the moment from the weight I'm carrying. I'm sore every moment of the day. If I can breastfeed them, I'll burn 1,000 calories a day. Bonus. Exactly. See the positive of it. I will definitely, I'm not going to go out during the pandemic and do these things, especially now that it's winter. I don't want to put myself at risk, but as soon as it gets a bit better and the weather gets better, I will do some more of those. Nyasha's saying, I wish there was an app for Android phones where users could walk in place to the movement of the device. It takes us forward very well. You're putting a lot of excuses in the way. Nyasha, I've just showed you how you can do that. And you can just be doing it on your elliptical. And, I understand that you want it to work at the same speed as your elliptical, but, don't think about that. What you're thinking about is, can I do it for 30 minutes? Or can I do it for 15 minutes? That's what you need to be working on. I saw somewhere that the reason that we don't exercise well is we're constantly looking to lose weight or whatever. We're not looking and realizing that just doing this for 15 minutes every day will improve my health. Right. Autumn's saying, my husband used ankle weights before and a weight vest. He loves it. Yes, I can see that I'm beginning to change my whole mentality. This is no longer a struggle. I look forward to doing it now. Jody is saying, I'm very motivated and I'm stuck in a chair, basically. I can stand for about 2 minutes. Jody, that's why I've been doing all these experiments. If you... I took some. I went. Oh, by the way, if anybody who's got a Wii Pro, the Wii console, I found that. What did I get? Resort. I think Sports Resort or something it's called. I've got a cycling program on there, and that is so exciting to do because it requires that you do this to cycle. Now this uses, guess what? Pumps your blood just as much as if you're running. And I found I did incredible steps yesterday, 11,000. I mean, I was pushing Beth at one point yesterday, and why? Because I was busy cycling. And then I did some wakeboarding. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It's, are you moving? And if you are, I'm lucky. I've got a watch that tells me how many steps. But what I know is if I move for 3/4 of an hour every day, I'm going to be in better shape, bottom line. So remember, how long can you concentrate for before you say, oh, no, this is boring? Don't say this is boring. Go, this is just relaxing. I just need to sit here and just go like this. It's not boring. It is movement. You understand? I find that, can you imagine that I can do this now for standing up, obviously, but I can do this now for half an hour without even thinking. I start to get bored after about 10 minutes, and then, I just get back into it again. It's just amazing. And the next thing I know, I've done half an hour, and I go, wow, look at that, half an hour. Amazing. I realize the next thing I definitely am going to be working on in January is to cut back my sugar intake. So I've decided one way I can, I've got way too much sugar in the house and way too much chocolate. And, I hate to waste things, so they're going to get used. But what I've decided is this week I'm going to get one box and put all my baking stuff into a box and close the lid. So if I want sugar, I'm going to have to go to the box and get it out. It's not going to just be in the cupboard. Does that make sense to anybody other than me? All right, so Kez is saying, Jody, you could probably find chair exercises on YouTube, also on Google Play Store. Yeah, and you don't even need an app for it. There are so many free on YouTube these days. All right. But again, you just need to put the walk around the pyramids, Jody, and just pretend to walk it. I tell you, that will take, I did 20 minutes. I didn't even do the whole of I think it was a 30-minute walk. I only added about 15, 20 minutes on today because that's what I needed to make up the 45 minutes. And I didn't have to do it all. I just wanted to fill my 45 minutes up. And I just literally walked it like this. I didn't care what speed they were going, Nyasha. I was going at my speed. See, it's not about the excuses. It's about, can I move for that space of time? Do you understand the difference in thinking? Do you understand the difference in thinking? It's not about all the excuses and what I need and don't need. It's about, can I just move? Can I get off my butt? All right, so interesting. Chloe, thank you. Chloe's saying, remember to warm up before you start to help minimize your muscle damage. Good idea. Autumn is saying, after the pandemic, water aerobics would be so fun to get into. Very low impact and fun. Yes, I find just standing, as I said, just standing in place. I don't need fancy clothes, don't need to change my shoes, except when I want to because I want to use different muscles. I don't have to worry about things. It's just let me put it on and start walking. It's quite simple. So do you understand what I'm going to be doing about the sugar thing? Put it in a box so that I have to physically open the box to get to the sugar. It's not that every time I open the cupboard that I'm seeing it. Because I've got into the habit now of making myself a bit of fudge every night. Why? Because it's so easy to make now that I've learned how to do it, and it tastes so good. But I'm pretty proud of myself for how well I've done over the holidays in terms of emotionally. I don't know about the rest of you. I am pretty proud of myself that I can now concentrate for 45 minutes of exercise a day. And, Jody's saying, enthusiasm. Hi, Roddy, good to see you. Enthusiasm is contagious. This I know. Well, I want to tell you something, Jody. I want to tell you, do it for a few weeks and you will be surprised how much you want to do it. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Just do it for a few weeks and you will be surprised. I have not intentionally extended anything. I just do it because I'm enjoying it. Autumn is saying there's some pretty healthy ways to satisfy the sweet tooth. Have you tried the oatmeal power balls? Yeah, but the thing is, I bought all this chocolate. Actually, chocolate isn't as bad for you as I thought. And especially chocolate and peanut butter is not that bad. So I've started making, versions now of things that I can eat. And so, yeah, I am going to get more creative. Good idea. Thank you. I'm actually pretty proud of the way that I've been able to cope with a lot of the stuff, being away from home and everything. I'm pretty proud of my emotional intelligence that I have demonstrated. And, I'm going to take a minute to say that because it has taken a lot of work to get there. But I'm beginning to understand I don't like getting triggered, but now when I get triggered, I can get over it pretty quickly. Oh, Autumn, Jody's saying, Autumn, I just saved the recipe for them. Okay, Jody will be sharing that with me, I'm sure. Would you, Jody? Kez is saying, you could put it in the freezer and then you'd have to wait for it to defrost. I'd put it in the freezer if my freezer is working. It isn't. That also broke down just before Christmas. My freezer here stopped working. They're going to replace it on Monday. My printer stopped working, so I couldn't do individual cards for people. and I didn't have Christmas cards because I normally create them. So, it was just like, okay, fine. Just don't even worry about it. I just told people the truth. Right, Roddy's saying, I started working on my nerves issues, and I can handle the pain. Okay, so what causes the pain for you, Roddy, just so we understand? If you can share. If you don't want to share, that's also fine. Just write pass, and I won't ask any more questions. Because if you want to talk about coping with pain, Jody is your lady. She really is a amazing woman, what she does, considering the pain that she's under on a daily basis. And I was wondering how many of you would like to see me try playing with those Russian piping icing things to see what they do. You fell 2 floors on the stairs. Wasn't one enough? I mean, I'm horrified to hear that, obviously, Roddy. But 2 floors? That makes me, quite honestly, almost sick to my stomach to hear that. Linda's asking, would I recommend getting a tracker watch? I want to tell you, I not only recommend getting a tracker watch, I actually recommend getting a good one. Why? I was saying this at lunchtime, Linda. The difference is if you get, this is, I'm not getting paid by them, but mine is a Fitbit, and I bought a cheaper one in the interim, but I got fed up with it, so I bought the one. The reason is if you buy a good one, the battery lasts way longer. I only have to charge this a couple of times a week, whereas the cheap one, I had to charge it every day. And that's a pain, quite honestly. So wait a minute. So you were sleepy and you fell down 2 flights of stairs. How did you get round the corner? Yeah, that's what my visual, I've got this little movie playing in my head and I can see you rolling down one set, but how did you get round the corner to do the second set? Autumn saying, I'd love to hear Jody's tips on dealing with chronic pain. How about we put that into another broadcast, Autumn? I think that's maybe we will get input from various viewers who quite a few of my viewers deal with pain. All right, and Roddy, Jody's saying, Sal has my email if you need support on nerve pain issues. I think we actually should do a broadcast on it, Jody. Maybe I can get you to put some pointers together and I'll put it in a broadcast. Why just Jody? Why Roddy? Why don't we share it with everybody? Yeah, I think we got more people that might need it. And in case, let's learn it so that when we have to deal with it later. I know that this finger, as you know, is causing me problems. I've got quite a bit. I've got problems with my thumbs now starting to get worse. And so I'd really love some tips. I'm pretty selfish, aren't I? Okay. Under use and reuse, how many of you would like to use less and just be more aware of not wasting stuff this year? Autumn is saying, I've never had chronic pain before until recently. It's hard not to be depressed. All right, listen up, Autumn. Jody got cancer. When I first met her, she was having a cancer operation. Then she managed to survive the cancer and got lymphedema. How many pounds did you pack on with lymphedema? For those of you who don't know what that is That is something that affects your lymph nodes, and it swells your body up. I think she said she put on over 200 pounds, but I'll wait for the clarification on that. Oh, she put on 100 pounds originally. You imagine putting on 100 pounds right now. And you did it in what, like a month or two? It was horrific, the time span. 120, that's what I thought. It was more than 100. But she also has fibromyalgia. She also has in need of two knees joints being replaced. She also has a shoulder needing replacing. You cannot believe the amount of pain and suffering Jody goes through on a day. ACL problem. So you look at it. This is a lady that struggles with pain every day, and yet you would never know it to listen to her, would you? When do you hear her complain? She put on that 120 pounds in 2.5 months. Imagine that. Imagine what that did to her self-esteem. I know, because I was holding a hand along the way, but it's like, Jody knows a great deal about pain and diabetes and 1,001 other things, and still takes the time to support everybody else. All right, so here's what I thought I would mention. Think about coffee filters. I found out that coffee filters are about the best thing you can use for cleaning mirrors and windows. Just thought, or silver, stainless steel, or something where you don't want to leave a mark. Try coffee filters. The other thing that I found is, if you want to keep your used coffee filters, they're great to put, ready for the spring, great to put in the bottom of flower pots. Whenever you're using things in the garden, put in some of your used coffee filters, with or without the coffee. And that really, will act to stop the soil falling through, but, it makes a good base. Ruddy's saying, I'm feeling much better already, Jody. Thanks for work. Thanks. Working out is much better than physical therapy and electric therapy. And of course, the mental health makes you feel way better too. I've noticed a big change since I've been doing the exercise. Ruddy's saying, oh, OMG, she's a champion. Yes, she surely is, an unsung hero. Autumn is saying, my pain will go away after my babies are born. My eyes have been opened recently. I was just telling my husband that people who deal with pain their whole life are so strong. Yeah, absolutely. And so what I want you to understand is that we don't know the half of what people are struggling with, with the viewers. I know more than most just because people tell me more than most, but it is important to know that we have people who have got wonderful experiences and cope with incredible things every day. And, Rinsky asked whether Jody's problems are permanent. And Jody is saying, Rinsky, it's permanent, but can be managed. I'm here and I'm celebrating that. And I'm very proud of you, Jody. You continue to be a role model for us all. So let me ask you here in the first chapter, which is January, in what way can we use less in January? Any ideas? Oh, and I know what I need to quickly look up because it's time to start doing that again. Hold on one second. Come on. This is important, people. Be careful. Be patient with me. So I thought I would do a couple of videos from my kitchen here. I thought that would be nice to do that. Okay. Now I need to tell you, and I will, Jody, please remind me to update my countdown thing, because we have passed the point of no return on winter. We are now on our way to spring. Spring arrives, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, on March the 20th. We're already in January. All right, Jody is saying reuse paper towels and foil in the kitchen. I've been doing that for a long time, but how about this one? How about the fact you don't use paper towels at all? Buy yourself a pack, a bulk pack of face cloths in whatever color matches your kitchen or whatever. I buy white all the time. And what I do is the first year I use them for my face, and then they go down to, cleaning the kitchen and cleaning. So I've always got a face cloth that I use as paper towels. Now then, interesting point. Autumn's saying, get a bidet. Buy less toilet paper. I've got another one on that one. Autumn. All right, so just let me see what Rinsky's saying here. Rinsky's saying, when I finish paper towels, I save the cardboard middle and use it to ship posters or something small. I use it when oil pulling, when I can't get to a garage. Okay, you know what else I use those inner rolls for? I push my paper plastic bags in there, and they take up far less space, and they go nicely on the side of a drawer in the kitchen. So, you'd be amazed how many paper plastic bags you can fit into one of those rolls. Also, I find I use them for, I actually use press and seal. I wash it and then I dry it overnight. And then the next morning I stick it down one of those long tubes as well, so I can reuse it. Good idea, people. So think about, what if you didn't have paper towels? We managed without paper towels before they were invented. We used rags. The other thing, let me give you a tip that I want to tell you works really well, which is, if you're lucky enough to have a dishwasher, take your cloth that you've used in your kitchen and put it in the dishwasher with your load of washing. You will always have a sanitized, clean cloth. So, one is in the dishwasher, one's being used. When the one comes out of the dishwasher, put the other one in the dishwasher for the next time you run a load. Make sense? You'll be amazed how well that works. And here's my last question for you. Well, I've got plenty more, but think about this Christmas time and ask yourself, what do I choose to do differently next Christmas? And it is already January. And you don't want to get into that same mess that you got into this year. And we might still be in a pandemic this time next year. So therefore, what do you want to start working on now? Think about, what gifts did you give or receive that were really valuable? Yes, Autumn is saying that one of the things she's thinking about is buying her kids less gifts. Yeah. Kiz is saying, I'm going to try, because I've heard that you should rethink what you buy, and then you won't have a lot to recycle. Plus, you shouldn't have. Yeah, I really thought about what I wrapped things in this year. I did not wrap things in paper that they could just rip apart. I wrapped things in little gold boxes. Hang on a second. Right? Why? Because I didn't think people would throw them away. I thought people would take out the beautiful not cheap tissue paper. I bought good tissue paper, and I was pretty sure people would like it. What do you think? Isn't it beautiful? And use it again. And also the boxes can break down and be used again. Linda's asking me, Sal, have you always lived so mindfully? No. No, I'd have to definitely say definitely not, Linda. And the more I live mindfully, the more mindfully I want to live in the time I have left. Autumn is saying, actually, I would like to buy my kids some more used toys instead of brand new. Look at me. I picked up my Wii secondhand. All right. I paid less than $100 for a Wii with a whole stack of programs with it. Why? Did I need to have the most modern one? No, they've actually stopped making this particular Wii. I don't care. I've got what I need, what I wanted it for. And so, yes, think about that. It's like the same thing. I didn't have to have the most modern Fitbit. I got one 2 versions down. Why? It does what I want it to do. I don't have to have the most modern one. I could have picked one up secondhand. So I look at all these things and say, if this is the first chapter of 2001, then let us be aware that we can make big changes with little steps. Remember, I started making this shift by just doing a few steps every day. Roddy's saying, I buy myself less patterned clothes and more basics, so matching is better. I want to tell you, you will never regret that. I buy very basic colored clothes. Did I say 2001? I meant 21. Anyway, go back to this. I always buy very basic colors because I can mix and match. Nada. What a wonderful way to start 2021, seeing your name pop up. Thank you. You just made my evening. So we can do this together, right? We can make these shifts together. Some of you have been on this journey with me since I started on YouTube. And what I want you to know is that I always said that if I went onto YouTube, I would do this as honestly as I possibly could. I would not live a life that was not real. And you have watched me go through good days and bad days. You have seen me go through incredible joy and incredible grief. And what I want you to know is that when we help each other, as you all do every week, you will grow so much faster. When you realize you're not alone in these things, that we all struggle with them. All right, and Kez is saying, Autumn, you can find brand new toys at the thrift stores, or you could even sponsor an animal for your kids. Yeah, or tell them to find an animal they want to sponsor. For the first time in my life, I sponsored those koala bears that were messed up by the fire in Australia. I've never done that in my lifetime, but that touched my soul. And I went, no, I want to contribute some money to that. And I did. So I'm hoping that you all got something of value of tonight's broadcast. Before we go, let me know, if you would, right now, what it is that made a difference to you. What was it in this broadcast that meant something to you? Or you feel that I'm glad I tuned in because da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And to me, I always say that if what I do makes a difference in anybody's life, then it's worth doing another broadcast. So Rinsky's saying, this stream has been the best thing for me in 2020. Wow. Why, Rinsky? And thank you for that incredible compliment. Okay, Rinsky's saying, I'm looking forward to doing those virtual walks. Yes, I'm going to, let's see how many we can get done. And let other people know that, what it was like. If it's boring, let's be honest about it. But if we found, boy, I couldn't believe how quickly I went around those pyramids. And next thing I knew, I'd been walking for 20 minutes. Rinsky is saying, it has helped me with my anxiety. That is good. Jody's saying, I love seeing how we're committed to health goals this week. I feel encouraged and motivated. Thank you all so much. And we will be checking up on everybody. We're not going to ask you, don't lie, don't just say something because you feel you have to. That's not true. What we're interested in is, like me, start slowly. Don't make your usual mistake, which is overcommit and then not be able to do it. All right? Just start slowly and see, like me, that every day you start realizing, boy, this suddenly isn't hard work. Suddenly this is what I want to do. Nada is saying, because I know I'm not alone and Liz is going to be okay, I'm going to be okay, and you guys are great support. Well, you're going to be just fine. Remember, Nada, more than anything else, that you're going at your speed, and your speed is the right speed for you. Don't feel that you're not getting things fast enough. Don't feel that you should be doing something. Just know, just keep learning, keep trying to do better. All right? And work on letting go of the excuses, because it's the excuses that have been holding us back so much of the time. Linda's saying, I'm glad I tuned in here to hear that exercise can be doable, not a harsh drudgery. It's actually, I want to tell you, with the We Fit, it's actually fun. I'm not getting paid, people. Autumn's saying, I really enjoy adult interaction and you all are so caring. Yeah. Catch me on a bad day, Autumn. Ask Benji. He caught me on a bad day one day. All right. We're only in competition with ourselves. Absolutely. Isabel saying, for myself, it really helps me with my anxiety. I was not feeling so good, not talking much, sorry, but I'm fine. I had a very nice Christmas. Very different, but nice. Glad to hear it. So let's all remember, we all had a very different Christmas. You know, I did not expect to lose a friend this Christmas time. It was not on my goal list, I can tell you that. But you know, it is what it is, and it happened. And I can choose to be devastated, which I obviously am at some level, but I can also choose to learn from it and to honor his memory. And I look at us all and go, well done, people. We made it through another year. He's saying, I like to know that I'm not the only one going through these problems and getting great advice. Isn't it funny? We think, aren't we arrogant to think we're the only one with the problem? Now, you know, when I first realized that, you mean I'm not the only one? I don't have to hide this. Other people have this problem. Wonderful. You're doing great work, people. This is DearMamaSal saying, thank you for taking your time, and know that I value the fact that you do take the time to tune in and talk. You do understand that each one of you that comes in and shares your reality and your input, you are helping people you have no idea are listening. You know, it's not the couple that are in the room or the few people that are in the room, whatever. It is all the other people that listen during the week that you are helping. It is so important that you understand that you make a difference just by being here and talking. By the way, for me, it would be so lonely sitting here talking to myself every week. This is DearMamaSal saying, remember to look after one another. But please, please, please start with looking after yourself. And please understand that we can do this one step at a time. You don't have to do 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week commitment. Try 10. Can you do it 5 days a week? Just 10. That is the interesting thing, because if you can, you'll find you'll automatically do 15 and then 20. So Roddy's saying that this live broadcast was also the best thing for me in 2020. Isn't that amazing? Thank you, guys. And thank everybody in the room for making that possible. This is DearMamaSal saying, we can do this for another year, people. Let's do it together. Bye-bye for now.